Well, howdy folks, Alcrex here, and welcome to Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. And today we're going to be talking about something that's seen, unseen, seen, whatever you want to call it. The Shadow Hawk, that 55-ton mech that everybody seems to have at least one of because it's iconic. It's been around since before the Star League, actually. It's one of those mechs that is very useful in a certain way. It's kind of anemic in others. Now, if you look at the standard, say the 3025 version, with its basic weapon systems and everything, it's nothing really to write home about and say, hey, it's great. No, it's not. It's one of those mechs I have a tendency not to take as much. I'd rather take a Wolverine, all right, like the 6R Wolverine over the Shadow Hawk, due to the problems with, like the jump jets and just that plain old auto cannon and an SRM2 streak, or SRM2, now it's got a streak. But alright, let's just delve into it. Alright, the new one from Earthworks. It is 55 tons, a 585. Yes, they improved the jump jets. Yes, they made it a little bit better, so it's a little more mobile. And how did they do that? Well, they did this wonderful thing called Endosteel. Yes, so now it has a little more space on board due to Endosteel. Takes up more of the crit slots, but you're getting some tonnage for your more bang for your buck, right? Now, and it carries around 10 double heat sinks. That's good. I think it had 12 or something like that the last time, but so that's a major improvement when it comes to heat sinks. It has 168 points of armor, which is a little bit less than what you would say is maxed out. The 5M here. Now, I'll just let you know, I am reading out of the old 3050 Technical Readout book, because the Shadow Hawk is not in the new 3050 TRO. So, in case you're looking for it, it's not there, because it's unseen. It's hidden. Alright, so, if you look at it, it's still short. It's like 185 points, I think, is maximum on it. So it's still roughly kind of anemic armor in some ways, better than it was. I think it was 152 before, but you get what you get. Okay. Now, equipment on board. We have an AC5 Ultra. All right, that's not bad. So yeah, you're double pumping. You got 1 ton of ammo with that in the left torso, along with the weapon system. So you are looking at, if you double pump every time, you're getting 10 shots out of it. Okay, that's pretty long engagement for a Shadow Hawk being involved in everything, because typically I find that by 10 turns the Shadow Hawk is either left the field because it's been tore up, or it is gone. It's ripped to pieces. Alright, it has a case in the left torso to protect that ammo. Now, here's an interesting thing, though. We have an LRM-20 in the right torso. Alright, so instead of an LRM-5, we get an LRM-20 with 1 ton of ammo. Okay. There is 6 shots. So your biggest weapon system is only get 6 shots. So your thing that does up to 20 points of damage is going to go click dry on the ammo bay after 6. So that is a major drawback for this, because you're spending a lot of tonnage into the AC5 Ultra system versus the LRM. So in some ways, things could be changed. Now, it also has in the right torso case. Okay, that's good. We still have a SRM2 streak in the head, so they went from a standard SRM2 to a streak system in the head. Center torso, you have your ammo. So the number of times I've hit mechs with their ammo in their center torso case doesn't help you any. Alright? Especially, which I forgot to mention, how does it get all this tonnage to put all these cool weapons on? Because it has an XL engine. Alright? And still it's going 5.85. With an XL, you know, they might have considered pumping this thing up to a 6.96 or something. But, you know, at the expense of maybe an LRM 20 to an LRM 15. Okay, now, like I said, it has the ammo in the center torso. That could be a major problem. Because if you get the golden BB, magic BB, whatever you want to call it, and you get a chance of critical on the center torso, and you roll and just happen to hit that one slot where that ammo's sitting, boom, and you go off like a firecracker. And then it has a medium laser in the right arm. Okay, that's pretty standard. And then we got center torso, one jump jet, and then we got right and left torso, the other 2 jump jets in each. Alright. Like I said, this is kind of a good mech. It sort of rolled itself into kind of a fire support / flanker. All right. Being that it is a 5.85, it does have the mobility to get around pretty quickly, get over obstacles, and then try to get into someone's flank. It's like as a flank attack. And hit him in the right or left sides and try to funnel damage into a side that's mostly damage, forcing someone maybe to turn a mech to torso twist to, when they're turned, you know, then they can protect themselves. So maybe that's going to hinder some of their arc of fire. You know, kind of things like that. That's what, you know, I like to do, is kind of twist people around if possible. And then it gives you an opportunity with some of your other fast flankers to get in behind and start hitting the juicy parts, you know, get into those rear areas. Biggest drawback I do see, like I said before, this mech is with that LRM 20 and that autocannon. You're putting a lot of tonnage into 2 weapon systems, and you're not getting a lot of bang for your buck for a longer period of time. You know, it's typically this mech, you know, for 6 turns you're going to hit him with the LRM and the autocannon. You know, you're not going to worry about heat or anything. But after 6 turns, your firepower potential with this mech has drastically gone down. You've gone from a potential of doing 30 points of damage down to 35 if you double hit with the autocannon. And then you're down to 15 possible, and then after 10 turns you're down to 5. You know, so you're basically got the firepower of a light mech, possibly like a locust or something. Heck, even some locusts have better firepower after that. So, you know, if in a long extended engagement you get a mech like this and it's forced to, its best defense is physical assault, because everything, you know, it doesn't have any weapon systems left because the ammo bays are dry. So that can be a big drawback for this thing. That's, you know, I guess you got the SRM too. Forget about that. That's typically, you know, you're going to get 4 points of damage. So I guess your 39 is max you're ever going to do with this thing. That isn't bad. It's kind of like the old adage of burst fire, do as much as you can, but you know, to get most of that fire downrange, you got to be within 9 for several of your weapon systems. So if you're staying out at a longer distance, okay, fire your weapons, unload, and then turn around and look for the nearest resupply depot. You know, that's kind of like, you know, how I look at this one. So you're having a few problems. Now, there is a few variants. Let's just delve into, okay, that was the 5M, and then the original one I believe had an LBX 10 and a couple of SRM2 streaks on board, Indo steel and ferrofibers, so, and a medium laser. 2 medium lasers and double heat sinks. So yeah, that was the Star League version, which you don't see. That was a 2HB variant. And then let's see, we had the 7M, which is a further taking this one a little further down the road. Let's see, was it 3066? I think it was. It replaces the downsized LRM rack and uses a light Gauss rifle, and replaces the AC-5 for longer range shooting. Okay, that was the Compellens used that one. And let's see, farther down, this 3079, we got the version that uses variable pulse lasers, MML5, and a plasma rifle, and improved jump jets. And then it has a Guardian ECM and a Beagle probe. And for a little bit more, that was the 8L. So a little bit there, and then let's see, 3070, which is getting really past the 3050 era. We got the one that has the light autocannons, MML5, fire both LRM and SRM ammunition, because it has 2, and then it has a medium pulse laser and linked with a targeting computer. Okay. Throwing all your tonnage into that, and then it uses ferrofibrous armor. So then there's 11C, is introduced in 68, has a light engine, has Indosteel ferrofibrous, sub-nose PPC, LRM-15 with Artemis, ER medium laser, and let's see, it has a C3 computer on board, so that way it can be kind of a scout type thing. And then in 79 we have the one uses a heavy PPC and a ER medium laser, MML7 light, has ferrofibrous armor and makes use of a larger engine. So this one kicks her up to I think it's 6.9. Yeah, 6.9, 6.96, and also has an Indosteel. So that's some of the variants that are out there that are possible, but those are farther down the road. Now, okay, you have this Shadow Hawk and you picked it up from the factory. What do you want to do with it? Well, one of the things I would do, probably will, if I have this one and it's a 585, and I don't want to change the engine or anything, leave it with the double heat sinks, which why not? You would sit there and drop off the autocannon, and the first thing I do is get rid of the autocannon and replace it with, it's either, your choice is a PPC, ER PPC. You get the heat sinks for it. Why not put an ER PPC on? You're doing the same amount of damage and the range. Okay. So that would be one thing I would do, is replace the that will free up basically 3 tons, I think it is. And I think you can also get rid of the case, because obviously you don't need case on that torso, because if you got the PPC there, no need for case, because you don't have the ammo with the autocannon right there. So there you go. That would be something to do. Now, with the 3 tons left over, you got some options here. I think probably what I would do is add another ton of ammo, most likely. If possible, you're probably going to need that case over there if you're going to add ammo, because you're stuck with missing a lot of space. So I guess we'll put that case back on there, and then we're going to add LRM-20. You probably will want an LRM-20 with 2 tons of ammo. That way you can shoot that darn thing a lot longer. Okay, there's a couple things you can do there. And then we're still stuck with 1.5 tons. You can add that either to more armor or put on a Beagle probe, or actually ECM or Artemis. You know, if you want to be able to get a few more missiles in, you could go with the Artemis on board, or put Artemis and then throw the rest into armor, or throw on another medium laser, and etc. So that is some of your options that you got going with you. That is, you know, just by dropping off the autocannon in favor of the PPC. And you still, okay, yeah, you're going to have a few heat problems, so you may consider throwing maybe that ton into another heat sink, so you could fire the PPC and the LRM together, and then the only thing that's going to matter is if you run or not. If you jump, obviously it's going to increase more. So there's some considerations that I would go with rebuilding this thing a little bit, just because of dropping off. Now if you went with a ER large laser, yeah, you're losing a potential 2 points of damage, but you're gaining 2 tons, so you could throw some more armor on it, another medium laser, and then a heatsink type of thing with all what you got left. And so let's just look at that. It's just like we got the PPC, ER large laser. There we go. Replace the PPC. We'll go over and add on a ECM, and then we want to put on Artemis on our, put Artemis on there. That leaves us a ton, so you could go with another, you have choice here. Go with more armor, another ton of armor, or another heatsink. Because right now you're with your long range shooting, you're doing 18, and if you run, you go up to 20. So your heatsinks manage all that with no problem. Now the only problem you're going to have is if you jump and fire those 2 weapon systems, obviously you're going to start heating up. So I would be more inclined to, let's just say if you get into close quarters battle, and right now you're looking at with a large laser and a medium laser and that streak, your heat is roughly 17. So if your run is 19, so you're still running cool. So your choice is, if you want to do a little more close in battle with it, throw a medium laser on, or you could add more armor. That's up to you. That's one of those decisions. If you're like to shoot more and have potential of heating up more, that's, you know, you can go that route, or you can put some 16 more points of armor on, and that would keep you going in the battle a little bit longer, which, you know, roughly is almost maxed out armor, just a little bit short. So there's some options. Now, one thing, you know, some people may argue with me with this one, but I'm going to tell you about, let's see if I can bring this up. It's what I call my Shadow Hawk command vehicle. I use this command vehicle for medium lances or a light lance commander, possibly. Typically it runs really good with medium mechs and heavy mechs. Now if you're running a assault lance, I typically will have my command vehicle is like, you know, ways of dealing with it. If you have a Cyclops command, or maybe a Battlemaster command or something like that, where you're taking some of your weapons tonnage and throwing it into a C3 master unit. Okay. Now, the what I call the Shadow Hawk Commander. It's on the same chassis. There's 2 versions, I basically will call this one. It still has the 585. It's got the 10 double heat sinks standard. fare that you have. We've got an ER large laser. I dropped the LRM-20 for the C3 master computer. Yeah, you're losing firepower, but you're sort of helping out the rest of the unit by combining it into a network, C3 network. So if you spend any time delving into it and looking at it, its whole purpose is to sit back and kind of snipe away with the large laser. I've used this version, oh gosh, probably 25 years now, and it works pretty good. It's kind of the one mech in the entire unit that if things start going south, you turn around and just hightail it off the board. But it tends to sit back and set up the network. All right. Now, equipment-wise, excuse me. Whoa, brain blew out there. Like I said, it has a large laser, medium laser, Guardian ECM, a couple more medium lasers. It's obviously, if you're losing the LRM, that's some chunk of tonnage there. So basically, I take the master and throw a couple more medium lasers into it. And you saved up some tonnage with the large laser versus the autocannon. And then you can throw a few more medium lasers in there. And then I also have a C3 slave unit also on this thing, so it can link up into a company strength. But you got maxed out armor, and it's 585. Okay, so you basically have a large laser and 5 medium lasers, and then the C3 network with ECM. So works pretty good. So if someone tries to get in close, you got enough medium lasers to do some good damage with, and then you can snipe along distances with the ER large laser. Now I'll bring up the other version. Let's see. For those of you who like a little bit more speed, this is the 696 command version. We threw a lot more into getting this thing a little bit faster. We have the jump jets and everything like that. It's still the standard fare. It's basically the same mech, but still has maxed out armor, almost max. And then it carries around ER large laser, Guardian ECM, C3 master system, and then we still have the 5 medium lasers, and still got the 20 double heat sinks. So it's a little faster, and then the slave. So basically it's the same version, but I increased the speed some. So works out pretty good. It's not a bad mech. Typically what I like doing with this one, this is the one I throw into the so I got two versions. First version I told you I use as a command vehicle for the medium lances to have a network with, and then this one is the one that gets tossed into the other one can also, like I said, be used in the heavies and medium lances. This one is strictly for those guys that liked a little bit more speed to 696, and it can be tossed into scouts, like a scout lance. It's a 6.9 or better movement. It's not as fast as the other guys, but you can create a network with them that way. So it's kind of like, you got to shepherd these things a little bit. Obviously a mech with XL engines with the inner sphere, you all it takes is losing a torso and you lost a big chunk of change. So like I said, this is one of those kind that if things start going south pretty quickly, you just turn around and hightail it out. It's like save the equipment, because this is a very expensive piece of equipment. So that's pretty much it when it comes to some of the variants that I like to run with it. So now, if you have some that you like to run out there, let me know. and to kind of start the discussion with all this. Now I know it's a long video, but you know there's a whole bunch of this. It's an iconic mech, and basically, like I said, how I like using this thing in a standard configuration is I like to stay back a little bit with it, use that LRM and that autocannon AC5 Ultra until those weapon systems are dry, and then I just turn around and say goodbye. And with those XL engines on board, you don't want to get too close with it, because you start taking a lot of damage with it. 9 times out of 10 you're going to lose a torso, and then you're done, especially if you're facing clans, because clans can do a serious amount of damage pretty quickly, and then you know they'll tear mechs up fast. And with Intersphere, it doesn't take as long to kill an XL engine mech than it does one without it, because without it you can run around as more of a zombie type of mech, and then eventually they got to tear you down or hunt you down. With this version, stay back a ways. Use your cover and concealment to best ability, and then when those ammo bays are dry, you have 2 choices: either leave the board or start kicking and punching. And that's kind of like situational dictates, because if you're looking at it's towards the end of the game and you're looking like your enemy's all beat down, yeah, you might want to risk it a little bit more to get in closer and then start using your hands and feet type thing. But if it's not looking good for you, leave. You know, save the equipment. All right, like and subscribe, share with all your friends, and we will talk with you later. Hellcracks out.